Eliza stood at the edge of her small town, the sun setting behind her, casting long shadows on the cracked pavement. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her past pressing down on her shoulders. It was a past filled with heartache and sorrow, one she was determined to leave behind. She had always dreamed of a different life, one filled with love and adventure. That dream seemed just a whisper away when she saw an advertisement for mail-order brides. The idea had sparked hope in her heart. It promised a new beginning far from the troubles that had haunted her all her life. With trembling hands, Eliza penned a letter expressing her hopes and dreams to a rancher named Jack. She imagined his rugged hands and kind eyes as she wrote about wanting to build a loving home on the open prairie. Days turned into weeks before she received his reply. Jack's words were warm and inviting. He spoke of his ranch, the rolling hills, and his desire to find a partner to share it all with. Eliza's heart raced at the thought of escaping her old life for the vast beauty of the West. As she prepared for her journey, Eliza packed only what she could carry, a few clothes, some cherished keepsakes, and a heavy sense of loss for the family she was leaving behind. She boarded the train with butterflies in her stomach, excitement mingling with fear. What if Jack didn't like her? What if he discovered the truth about her past? Upon arrival at the ranch, Eliza was captivated by its beauty. The sprawling fields and majestic mountains surrounding them felt like a scene from a storybook. But despite the breathtaking scenery, Eliza's heart still carried shadows of her history. She stepped forward to meet Jack, knowing she had to keep her true self hidden for now. Little did she know, secrets seldom stay buried for long in a place as close-knit as this. Jack stood on the porch of his ranch house, gazing out at the sprawling fields that seemed to stretch into forever. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and calloused hands, accustomed to hard work under the sun. His reddish-brown hair was tousled by the breeze, and a hint of loneliness lingered in his blue eyes as he thought about the life he built for himself after moving away from the bustling town. For years, Jack had devoted himself to the ranch that had belonged to his family for generations. He found joy in caring for the cattle and watching the sun rise over the mountains. However, as rewarding as it was, he struggled with the solitude. Laughter and companionship were missing from his life. Jack often imagined what it would be like to have someone by his side, sharing not only the burdens but also the joys of ranch life. His heart lifted when he saw the advertisement for mail-order brides. It sparked hope inside him, a chance to end the loneliness that had cast a shadow over his days. Jack wanted a partner who would not only help him run the ranch but also bring warmth and laughter back into his home. After exchanging letters with Eliza, he found himself daydreaming about what their life together could be like. As he waited for her arrival, Jack imagined the kind of woman she would be. Would she have a joyful laugh? Would they share quiet moments watching sunsets over the prairie? His mind raced with possibilities. But alongside those hopes, doubt crept in. What if she didn't like him? What if their dreams didn't align? When Jack finally saw Eliza step off the train, his heart raced. She looked like a breath of fresh air against the rugged backdrop of the ranch. In that moment, he hoped that they could build something beautiful together, if only fate would allow it. Little did he know, both were carrying heavy secrets that would soon test their new bond. The sun rose brightly on the day of Eliza and Jack's wedding, casting a warm glow across the ranch. Eliza stood in front of a dusty mirror in the small, rustic cabin where she was staying, adjusting her simple white dress. Her heart raced with excitement, but there was also a flutter of nerves deep in her stomach. As she looked at herself, she tried to push aside the memories that crept into her mind, moments from her past that she desperately wanted to forget. Meanwhile, Jack paced back and forth outside, glancing at the horizon where the sky met the earth. He felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Today was meant to mark a new beginning for him, and he wanted everything to be perfect for Eliza. He kept wondering if she would be happy with their life together or if she had any doubts about marrying him. As guests began to arrive, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Friends and neighbors gathered around, their faces lit up with smiles and laughter. The scent of wildflowers filled the air as they adorned the makeshift altar with blooms picked fresh from the fields. Jack's heart swelled seeing how much everyone cared. It felt like a community celebration as well as a personal milestone. When Eliza finally stepped out of the cabin, all eyes turned toward her. She felt a rush of confidence wash over her despite the quiet voice in her head warning her about what lay beneath the surface. Jack's gaze met hers, and at that moment, all her worries faded. He looked at her as if she were the only woman in the world. The ceremony unfolded beautifully under an expansive blue sky, filled with heartfelt vows and promises for the future. Yet, amid the joy and laughter, fleeting shadows danced in Eliza's eyes whenever she thought of what she had left behind. As they exchanged rings and sealed their commitment with a kiss, both felt a mixture of hope and trepidation, each aware that secrets lay just beneath their shared dreams. As the days passed after their wedding, Eliza began to settle into her new life on the ranch. The early morning sun greeted her as she rose with the roosters, and she embraced the rhythm of ranch life. At first, everything felt foreign, a far cry from the city streets she had known. But slowly, she learned to cherish the simple joys of living in nature. Eliza found herself in the kitchen more often than not, learning to cook hearty meals that would keep Jack energized for his long days of work. She discovered a knack for baking, filling their home with the sweet scent of fresh bread and pies. Jack often smiled at her creations, his eyes lighting up with gratitude. Their shared meals brought them closer, and Eliza felt a sense of belonging she had longed for. Outside, Eliza dove into her new responsibilities. She helped Jack round up cattle and mend fences, her hands becoming calloused from labor but strong with purpose. Each task was a challenge, yet she met them with determination. Eliza took pride in her ability to learn quickly, whether it was riding horses or caring for animals, she pushed herself to excel. However, doubts occasionally crept back into her mind, memories of her past lingering like shadows. When faced with unexpected challenges, like when a calf fell ill or a storm threatened their crops, Eliza felt those old fears resurface, whispering that she wasn't enough. Yet Jack's steadfast support gave her strength. He believed in her when she struggled, offering gentle encouragement that helped her push through. As weeks turned into months, the ranch transformed into a place of growth for both Eliza and Jack. They laughed together during long days of work and shared quiet moments watching sunsets over the hills. Eliza was becoming more than just a mail-order bride, she was becoming a partner and an integral part of Jack's life. With each passing day, however, the weight of her past loomed larger, reminding her that secrets always have a way of finding the light. As Eliza settled into her routine on the ranch, small hints of her hidden past began to surface, like ripples on a still pond. One evening, while preparing dinner, Jack casually asked about her family, something he had been curious about since their wedding. The moment his question hung in the air, Eliza's hands froze mid-motion, and a shadow crossed her face. She hesitated, her thoughts racing. They're fine, she finally managed to reply, but her voice lacked the warmth of her earlier conversations. Jack noticed her fleeting expression but brushed it off as nerves. At night, when the stars glittered brightly above the ranch, Eliza often found herself tossing and turning in bed, haunted by nightmares that sent shivers down her spine. In these dreams, she would revisit dark memories of escape, shouting voices and chaotic scenes that left her breathless. Sometimes she woke up gasping for air, drenched in sweat. Jack would reach over with concern etched on his face, gently asking if she was all right. "Just a bad dream," she'd say quickly, avoiding his gaze as her heart raced back to the present. During quiet moments outside, Eliza would often stop to gaze into the horizon when strangers passed near their ranch. A faraway look clouded her eyes as if she were seeing something only she could comprehend. Jack questioned whether those shadows held anything more than memories of old friends or family, still, he chose not to pry. On weekends when they ventured into town together, a flicker of sorrow crossed Eliza's face every time they walked past a bakery or shop owned by families who had rooted themselves longer than they could count. She smiled at them politely but couldn't shake the feeling that those images tugged at something deep inside. Despite striving for a fresh start built with hope and love alongside Jack, Eliza fought an internal battle between enjoying life on the ranch and confronting the elusive specters from her past that lingered just out of sight. Jack had always prided himself on being observant, but lately, he found himself increasingly puzzled by Eliza's behavior. Although she worked hard on the ranch and contributed so much, there were moments when a shadow crossed her face, and he felt a gap between them that he couldn't quite understand. It was during one of their evening walks that he noticed it most. The two would stroll hand in hand while the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Yet, Eliza often fell silent, lost in thought, her gaze distant as if she were somewhere far away. One night, while they shared a candlelit dinner, Jack decided to broach the subject gently. "You know, I've been thinking, it seems like there's something on your mind sometimes," he said, trying to keep his tone light. Eliza's fork halted midair, and she quickly looked down at her plate. "I'm just tired from the day," she replied too quickly, a tremor in her voice that made Jack's heart ache with concern. Days turned into weeks, and Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. He started noticing patterns, how Eliza would avert her eyes whenever other ranchers spoke about family or how she would tense up at sudden noises. Each small sign added to his growing worry that she was hiding something significant. That weekend, while Eliza was busy baking bread in the kitchen, Jack quietly took a stroll around their property. He found himself drawn to the area where she often stood gazing into the distance. As he wandered, he noticed a few old newspapers scattered near a fence line. Curiosity piqued, he picked one up and scanned its contents. The headlines told stories of crime and hardship that seemed far removed from their peaceful ranch life. Returning to the house, Jack felt torn between trust and concern for Eliza. Could her past be connected to these troubling stories? As shadows fell across their home that evening, he resolved to dig deeper to understand what lay behind those fleeting looks of sorrow in Eliza's eyes. He knew they could build a life together if only they could confront the truths that lingered just out of reach. One rainy afternoon, while Eliza was busy cleaning the house, Jack decided to tackle a bit of organizing in their small storage shed. The scent of damp wood filled the air as he rummaged through boxes filled with forgotten treasures from the ranch's past. He hoped to find something useful when his hand brushed against a weathered envelope hidden beneath a pile of old tools. Curious, he pulled it out and noticed Eliza's name scrawled across the front in elegant handwriting. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Jack hesitated for just a moment, but his curiosity got the better of him. Carefully opening the letter, he discovered it was dated years before they had met. As he read, the words painted a vivid picture of Eliza's previous life filled with heartache. The letter revealed her struggles to escape a dangerous situation in her former town, detailing threats and fear that had driven her to seek a new life as a mail-order bride. Jack's pulse quickened as he realized that Eliza had faced challenges far beyond what he could have imagined: abuse, betrayal, and the desperate need for safety. The more he read, the more he understood why Eliza sometimes seemed lost in thought or hesitant to speak about her family. This letter was a key to her past, one she had likely hoped to keep buried. Jack felt a mix of anger and sorrow, anger at those who had hurt her and sorrow for the pain she carried alone. Returning to the house, Jack's heart ached for Eliza. He wanted to confront her about the letter, but he also knew this revelation demanded sensitivity. He couldn't help but feel that their bond was about to be tested in ways they had never anticipated. As he contemplated how to approach her, he resolved that understanding her past would be the first step toward truly building a life together, a life where love could heal old wounds if only they could face them together. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ranch, Jack found himself standing on the porch, his heart heavy with the weight of the letter he had read. He knew the time had come to confront Eliza about her past. The thought of doing so stirred both anxiety and determination within him. When Eliza came outside, wiping her hands on a towel after finishing dinner preparations, she smiled at Jack, but he could see that her eyes held a flicker of confusion. "Is everything okay?" she asked, sensing his tension. Jack took a deep breath and motioned for her to sit beside him on the porch steps. "Eliza," he began softly, "there's something we need to talk about." He looked into her eyes, searching for any sign of understanding. "I found a letter today, one from your past." Her expression shifted instantly, vulnerability washing over her face as she bit her lip in apprehension. "You found a letter," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Jack nodded slowly, choosing his words carefully. "It spoke about struggles, fears, things I can't imagine you've gone through." He paused, feeling the ache in his chest deepen. "I wish you had told me." Tears welled up in Eliza's eyes as she turned away, trying to hide her emotions. "I didn't want to bring any of that here," she replied through a trembling voice. "I was trying to start fresh, to be someone new." "I understand that," Jack said gently, reaching for her hand. "But we can't build a life together if you keep these secrets from me." His thumb brushed over her knuckles, offering comfort and support. Eliza looked down at their joined hands and let a shuddering breath escape. "I'm scared, Jack. Scared that if you know everything about me, you won't want me anymore." His heart sank at her words. "Eliza, I love you for who you are now, not just for your past. We can face it together." In that moment, the dam broke within Eliza. She began to share her story, the pain and danger she had fled, and with each word, it felt like a weight lifted from her shoulders. Jack listened intently, holding her tightly as tears flowed freely between them. As they shared this raw exchange of truths, an unbreakable bond formed in the space between their vulnerability and trust. While secrets had threatened their relationship, honesty became the first step toward healing together under the vast sky of their shared future. In the days following their heartfelt conversation, Eliza found herself reflecting deeply on her emotions, an intricate mix of regret and hope. The weight of her secrets had been lifted, yet the burden of shame lingered in the corners of her mind. She often sat on the porch at sunset, watching Jack work in the fields as the golden light illuminated his strong figure. While she felt grateful to have his love, she couldn't shake the feeling that she had put him through unnecessary pain by hiding her past for so long. Regret echoed in her heart, reminding her of the night she had spent shrouded in fear, unwilling to share the truth with someone she cherished so deeply. Eliza wished she had been braver earlier, that she could have found the strength to open up before that letter was discovered. She feared that Jack's perception of her might be tainted by the hardships she had faced, and even now, doubts fluttered through her mind like restless butterflies. Would he look at her differently? Would their dreams of a shared future still be attainable now that he knew? Yet, amidst her regrets, a flicker of hope ignited within Eliza. Since her confrontation with Jack, he had shown nothing but understanding and love. Each gentle gaze and every tender word reassured her that he did not define her by her past. In those moments they shared laughter and warmth around the table or while working together on the ranch, that hope grew stronger. She began to believe that perhaps acceptance was possible, not just from Jack but also from herself. Eliza found herself dreaming again. This time, they were filled with visions of a life built on honesty and shared experiences. As she watched Jack smile easily and laugh heartily with friends, she realized that his love might just provide a path toward healing. Maybe, just maybe, she could learn to forgive herself for her past and embrace a future filled with love, a future with Jack where both of their histories converged into a brighter tomorrow. In the stillness of the evenings spent together, Eliza felt the beginnings of a bond strengthened by their truth and a love powerful enough to conquer the shadows of their pasts. With their secrets laid bare, Jack and Eliza embraced a new chapter in their relationship focused on rebuilding trust. Each day became an opportunity to strengthen their bond, as they approached their marriage with renewed commitment and understanding. Jack made a conscious effort to reassure Eliza of his love, often surprising her with small gestures that spoke volumes. One sunny afternoon, he invited her to join him while tending to the cattle. As they worked side by side, he encouraged her to take the lead, allowing her to feel more confident in her abilities. "You're not just my wife, you're my partner," he said, his voice warm and sincere. Eliza felt a surge of gratitude at his words, realizing that he truly valued her presence in his life. Eliza, in turn, took steps to open up more about her feelings and fears. During quiet evenings spent together, she shared stories from her past, not just the painful ones but also moments of joy and resilience that had shaped who she was today. Jack listened intently, his heart swelling with admiration as she revealed the strength she had shown in overcoming adversity. With each story she shared, their connection deepened, and Eliza felt lighter knowing that Jack accepted her wholly. They began creating new memories together, exploring the beauty of the ranch hand in hand. One weekend, they organized a picnic by the river, where they laughed and reminisced about their shared experiences. The laughter echoed through the trees, a sound that felt healing for both of them. As days turned into weeks, Jack noticed a change in Eliza. Her laughter came more easily, and her eyes sparkled with a newfound light. He realized that their journey was not just about facing the past but also about looking toward the future together. They were building a life based on honesty and mutual respect, an unshakable foundation for their love. In those moments of vulnerability and shared joy, Eliza understood that trust was being rebuilt brick by brick. With Jack by her side, she began to believe that love could truly conquer all, not just the hardships of the past but also any uncertainties that lay ahead. Together, they were crafting a story of resilience and hope, one filled with promise for the days to come. As the seasons changed, so did Eliza's outlook on life. With each passing day, she found herself embracing her new beginning with Jack more fully. The ranch, once a place of uncertainty and hidden fears, had transformed into a sanctuary of love and support. Eliza cherished quiet mornings filled with laughter over breakfast and afternoons spent working side by side with Jack under the vast sky. One crisp autumn day, they decided to host a gathering for their friends and neighbors to celebrate the changing season and their newfound happiness. As Eliza prepared for the event, she felt a sense of excitement bubbling within her. She decorated the porch with colorful leaves, twinkling lights, and fresh flowers, symbols of growth and renewal that mirrored her journey. When their guests arrived, the atmosphere was filled with joy as laughter echoed across the ranch. Eliza watched Jack move effortlessly among their friends, his warmth drawing people in. It filled her heart with pride to see how he had become not just her partner but also a beloved figure in their community. She realized in that moment that she had found a true partner, not someone who judged her past but someone who celebrated her present. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the gathering, Jack took Eliza's hand and led her to the center of their friends. "I want to say a few words," he announced, his voice steady and proud. "Eliza has shown me what true strength looks like. Together we have faced challenges, and together we will face whatever comes our way." Eliza's heart swelled with emotion as she listened to Jack speak. He acknowledged her past but focused on their shared journey ahead. Surrounded by love and acceptance, Eliza felt lighter than ever before. She understood that her history no longer defined her, it was merely part of the story leading her to this very moment. With renewed hope and a heart full of love, Eliza embraced the future awaiting them, a future where trust had been rebuilt, where they could dream together without shadows from the past holding them back. As she looked into Jack's eyes, she knew they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, hand in hand, crafting a beautiful life built on love and resilience.